think what makes Boston so innovative is it's a really young city. People often think because we've got the Freedom Trail and all these historic sites that Boston's an old place, but I make the case that you have hundreds of thousands of college students who come here every year, and some of them graduate and new ones come in. I think that energy keeps Boston really young. And I think the entrepreneurial energy of both college students starting great things and maybe people who are a little bit post-college age starting and building new websites and mobile apps and robotics companies keeps Boston feeling really vibrant. For me, I think I'm always excited by the latest new idea that I've seen. So, I was just visiting with a company in East Cambridge that's developing something called the Uno, and it's basically like a transforming motorcycle. So it transforms from motorcycle mode to kind of almost like a Segway, two-wheeled, self-balancing mode for when you need to maybe drive on the sidewalk and drive into a building and go into an elevator and maybe park it in your apartment or park it in your office. That's pretty cool. I'm always interested. I think there's a lot going on in video games right now, and people trying to figure out kind of social gaming, the Zynga, Farmville stuff. Kind of where is that going to go, and also where is gaming on the iPhone and iPad going to go? So I think that's an exciting area. Maybe the third thing I'd mention is robotics. Boston really is one of the world centers of robotics innovation. So the people at iRobot, for example, keep coming up with their latest thing is a robot that cleans the bathroom floor, which is never my favorite task of the week. And you've got one of the founders of iRobot working on a flying robot company to do sort of surveillance robots that maybe police forces or the military could use. So there's a lot of cool stuff happening there. When I think of Boston, I think of a lot of probably technology-oriented brands. I mean, I think the big probably consumer brands that people think of when they think of Boston are like Sam Adams and the Red Sox and maybe Fidelity, Gillette. And when I think of technology brands, I think of iRobot that we talked about before. I think about Akamai Technologies. I think about EMC probably. And maybe some smaller companies like Harmonix, which makes Rock Band and Dance Central and a whole bunch of other fun games. And let's see, if I were looking around for one more, maybe Staples has kind of an interesting Boston retail brand, and TJX, which runs TJ Maxx and Marshalls. Those are some other ones. I think where the innovation economy is going in the Boston area, where you see a lot of job growth, is in areas like alternative energy and energy efficiency, and thinking about how are consumers going to get engaged in their energy usage. And so it might be devices that plug into your home's energy supply or circuit box and monitor how much energy are you using, and is your dishwasher running at the wrong time of day, and maybe if you ran it at night, you'd save some money on your electrical bill. I think there's a lot of potential there. And I actually think that Boston, the design community is really vibrant here, the software community is really vibrant here, but I actually think where you see a lot of job growth is in the life sciences community. So all the companies that are developing new drugs and new therapeutic treatments and new medical devices that are going to hopefully keep all of us healthy and living longer. And that's really an area where Boston is already a global leader and kind of, I think, becoming a bigger global leader. I think Boston is really bad, actually, at promoting itself. I think that, we have a little bit of the Yankee gene of we just want to work hard, and if we do good work, people will notice us, and just kind of keep your head down. And I actually just don't think that serves us really well. So when I think about things that innovators and entrepreneurs and designers and technologists should be doing differently, it's actually being a little bit louder and prouder about what we do here, and kind of, look, we exist in a competitive global economy, and you need to let people know what's happening in Boston and Austin and Seattle and whatever city that you live in. I don't think you can afford to be quiet. I think you need to kind of market yourself and make sure that other people in other places know how much is happening here. Well, I just finished reading a great book called The Cure that's all about a Harvard Business School graduate who goes into the biotech industry because two of his kids have this rare disease, and he's determined to cure the disease. And his company actually gets bought by Genzyme, the big Cambridge biotech company. So it has a lot of local connections. And it's just a great book. I just finished it. So a great book about innovation in the sciences, but with a really human story. And it was written by a woman I don't know, but Geeta Anand, who had been a Boston Globe reporter for a while. A couple heroes of mine would probably be Dean Kamen, the inventor up in New Hampshire, and Woody Flowers, who was a longtime MIT professor. They created this first robotics competition, which I think does a phenomenal job of getting kids interested in science and technology and innovation. And there are now thousands of robotics teams around the country because of this vision that Dean and Woody had about getting kids actually excited about science and making science and invention fun, which I think is really important. And in terms of mentors, a lot of my mentors are journalists, people like Lou McCreary and Art Janke, who sort of published magazines and do publish magazines here in the Boston area. Bill Taylor, who co-founded Fast Company and who I wrote for a long time. And I should, of course, mention all of my bosses at the Globe as important mentors, too. Someone told me recently, this is a business experience, or it's really a business saying that I think really struck me. And the phrase is, you don't ask, you don't get. And so basically the idea is that when you're negotiating with someone or you're sort of setting up a business arrangement, often you'll regret afterwards, oh, gee, I should have done this or I should have put that into the contract. But, you can obviously get rejected if you ask someone for something in business and they don't want to do it. But if you don't ask for it, you're never going to get it. So I think that's a great philosophy that sort of emboldens you to ask for what you want, and maybe you'll get at least half of what you want.